Good day. Thank you so much to be here. Today, in this Activity 12 final project, we present Alpha Group Consulting Company. The team members are Ángel Alejandro Castro García, Mario Alberto Aguilar Ochoa, Cristian Casillas Madrigal, and Alfredo Ramsés Hernández Venegas. Alpha Group Consulting Agency SRL. We are a consulting or marketing research for other companies that need legal advice, research of the market, accounting and financial service, and publicity in order for them find their goals and strategies to fulfill their duties. Our mission is to improve our customers' development in the marketing areas to help them understand in a better way their clients. Our vision are create a big network of company customers and allies to create a strong commercial bond among negotiators in the ever-changing market. What are our objective business? In the short term, to establish the company as an ideal and strong option for legal consulting, marketing research, and publicity. In the medium term, to have important relationships with most of the important companies from Colima and start to have a presence in the Nordic states. And in the long term, to be known among the markets as one of the most important consulting companies in Mexico. And a part of the analysis of the industry or sector and objectives. Well, we consider that this idea could be successful taking into account that Colima has presence for middle-sized companies that are in a process of growth. The level could be considered low taking into account that the small state, but we have an important advantage that our states give a certain level of security, low cost in rents, and also a strategic position to enter a state like Michoacán and Jalisco. The price of a business consulting can vary between 500 and 2,000 um, a month. This amount depends on different factors, but approximately each hour work can cost between 10 and 100. In a part of description of the administrative parts of the company, we are Alpha Group. Like I say, we are in this moment four members. Mario, that Mario have the statistical analytic and account. Angel is have a part of marketing, research, and public relation officer. Christian have a part of community manager, translator, and development. And me, Alfredo, I have the part of operational development. Although all the collaboration would be elaborating multi-static activities or other areas to optimize the capacity, the personnel. It's important that each collaborator will be responsible of a certain area. In the part of market research, our main market segment is small, medium, and large companies located in the state of Colima. Our clients are business people who seek to improve the performance and image of their company. They are entrepreneurs from beginners to experience who are concerned about the image their company projects for their target market as well as committed to social causes.
For the objective of market research, our objective is to strengthen our presence and prestige in Colima until we become the main consulting agency in the entire state. We focus on improving our market research and our experience and how we work with all of our clients in order to improve each time like a computer, always improving, always upgrading the information and the skills necessary to do our job. And next, we are going to focus and going to show you the service that as an example of what are we gonna do and how to improve it. Usually, we use not only um, Google Docs platforms to make surveys, but also we have a presence doing the surveys like in physical. We do both virtual and physical in order to have the best amount of information, more importantly. So for the examples that we are going to show are service, virtual service that we did for a security company. So the results obtained, like analyzing all the information and all the ages, gender, and the variables of the survey, is that, for example, the importance that the entity gives and the perspective the workers do are this. Like they think that there is not that much importance of the entity to make security for the workers. So other results that we have are, for example, how many of they have a security, how a security that are given to the company, and we find that there's more people having a security than not. But it is important to say that it is very big, the ones that doesn't have a security. And for example, how many of them have a apoyo superior de la ley from their companies or from the governments? And we have a lot of kind of securities that they have, like for example, despensas, bonos de puntualidad, fondos de ahorro, etc. How many of they are in a security in a, no sorry in a industry sector? For example, we found that in Colima there's more people in the commerce because of the port of Manzanillo than in other kind of work, for example, transporte marítimo. How do they feel in their work? They feel more. It is kind of a 50-50. There's people that feel secure and there's people that not, and this is something that has to be improved, has to be worked in for the companies of our state. Which are the main insecurities in the job for the people that we present this service? They feel of insecurity from people that can attack them or can rob them. There is people that feel insecure in terms of accidents, that maybe the company doesn't have something prepared for this to happen, or how they are treated by the clients. There's a lot of kind of insecurities that people has. Usually we think people like having an accident or problems with their body, but it is also the psychological problem of insecurity. Like I already said, that they feel that they can be robbed in any time, or how they are treated. And this concludes express concerns regarding of the work security and mainly in accidents at work. But also we found some insecurities for the COVID-19 that affects all the work and all the world. For the technical study, the products or services specifications, we have the nature of investment projects focus on serving more in specific services of consulting in the state of Colima, having market research, improving on the publicity of our clients, having a treaty of how do they want to achieve and how can we help them to achieve that. The provision of the service, analyze general and specific aspects of the company in terms of security. And this is also like the example of before. We are not only on security, we are consulting at everything. But for the example of before, we are kind of looking also on the security. For all the companies that we have clients, we need to know not only how they are doing in terms of financial and in terms of their body, the core, but also in the environment.
Okay, so here we have the description of our production process or provisions of the service. So our service can be divided into three segments. The first one being before meeting the client. In this stage, we mostly focus on attracting the client. For this purpose, not only for attracting the client, but also companies. For the second, we also have the development of the research. In this stage, we create a development of a plan of action with the purpose of responding to necessities of the client to further the field and apply surveys, inclusive tools. And the final stage would be the results obtained from our research. Next, we have the variable costs that we could find with our services. The first one being for new clients would be 600 pesos mexicanos per schedule. The second one being 20 pesos mexicanos per survey. But a change to this has been we've noticed that in Colima and Villa Alvarez, there are mostly conformed by small and medium-sized companies. So this price would not apply to them. It would only apply to the larger size companies. And the final would be transportation, and this amount is mostly uh, linked to the distance of the location that we would have to transport. Next, we have design and distribution of plant and offices. So the story of our company would be on how a couple of friends got united in a team with an objective of solving certain commercial problems in the city that we love and that we think could have a high income influence. The logo that we created has a yellow circle in the center and three triangles that represent the volcano of Colima and the sun at the moment of sunset. For the job description, as we said before, we would be working with in these four positions alongside our clientele or whoever we decide to employ. Mostly the requirements being from 20 to 40 years old, having their degree in uh, accounting, finance, or marketing. Depends what position they are going for. Gender can be the same, but schedule is important. It will be Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. with two free hours between 2 and 4 p.m. But also Saturdays would be a shorter day of 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. The recruitment process would be the jobs offered would mainly be per person per season, taking into consideration that at least in the first year, all employees will be paid by commission and for specific moments of the research. We would mostly be finding new workers through social media. Having free publicity is really important right now for our being we don't have a large budget, and new workers will be taught general parts of the company for everybody to know at least the basics of how to do work in each section of the company. This includes development and interpretation of account material such as balance sheet, cash flow statement on how to develop and apply marketing research, include a segment of the market. The research is exploratory and secondary. What are the best methods in a publicity project, communication among customers, the understanding of markets, etc. For wages, they will mostly be fixed wages, being it easy to uh, have everything more financially understanding for all of us. And we agree that these wages are fair and right and just.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk a bit of the legal aspects of the registration of the company. A bit of the fiscal procedures. Well, obtaining the permission to use the denomination or company name, it can take a time on average of 2 days online, and this normally doesn't have a charge. Although each year everything is changing. Next aspect is notice the use of the denomination or company and presentation of the articles. Well, this also can have an average of 2 days, depending on the system, and can have a charge of on an average of 5,000 with 22 pesos. Registration of the articles and of incorporation. Well, although we consider that this doesn't apply to our company because we're not creating like bugs, but in case that we could have this issue, it could have a average time of 3 days and a cost of 245 Mexican pesos. Next part is the online registration of the company in Federal Taxes Registry or FRFC. Well, this could be done in one day. Although, being honest, we consider that in these times for the coronavirus, this time could be quite extended. But the good part is that this normally doesn't have a huge charge. The next one is obtaining the operating license. Well, in the best of the scenarios, it could take only 1 day and could have a cost of 280 pesos. Enrollments in Social Security. Well, this could take 1 day, and this also would be one of the most important aspects, taking into consideration that, well, the past studies, we consider that security is an important aspect for our workers. So, I think the first way in which we could also say that, hey, this is important is taking it into consideration to our own company registration, and the state tax payables. Now I'm going to present a bit of the financial study, the balance sheet. Well, first I wanted to show a bit of in percentage, taking into consideration that what we think that it's way easier to show how it changes from year to year. So, for instance, after, for example, we're able to see the net utility, we're able to see that in the first year it was in 22%. The second year was kind of bad. We had 19. Third year it was in 20, and in the third, fourth, and fifth it was kind of steady. Now I'm gonna present a bit of the income statement. Well, as I said before, we'll present it in percentages to because in this way we'll be able to see the changes through time. Okay, so we're able to see that in the first year, surprisingly, we had like a really good development with a utility of 22%. And also in the second year, we didn't did quite good. And then the last 3 years, well, I'd say that it was not as high as the first year or as low as the second one, but it was kind of steady. Financial ratios. Well, here for this area, the ratios that we took into consideration way more were the profitable ratios. For example, the liquidity ratios. In terms of the current ratio, we were able to see that in the first year we had a 3.6, the second year 3.2, and in the next 3 years this ratio increased. Next part we have the acid test. Well, it follows kind of the same pattern in the sense that if we compare year one from year two, we see that we kind of decreased, but in year three we had an increase, and from year four and five we didn't have a huge change. Next part we have working capital. Well, here for capital, we were able to see that this was a huge surprise that from year, well, to year, we had only increases. But when we here start with the debt ratio, we are able to see that a really positive thing that we have been reducing the debt from year to year. Taking into consideration that in the first year we had a 38%, and for the fifth year we had only 21%. Recovery of the investments and minimum rate of return. Well, here we're able to see that the process, well, the time in which we could have the recovery of the investments would be an average of 1 year, 10 months, and 28 days. One of the reasons we think that this time was really, wasn't so long, it is because as we were able to see in the past, well, through the past slides, all that we were gaining a really good income, we decided as team that we could have a really fixed income, and being real, it was kind of low. But we think that this is the best option that we can follow because in this way we could have a better way of investments, and also, well, our recovery of our own investment with our money is really low. Another aspect that we would like to say is that our minimum rate of return is an average of 14%. And, thanks to all the work, we're able to see that we actually passed this percentage. Improvements and conclusions. Well, we have to admit that up to this point, we have a lot of improvements, and we're going to explain a bit. Taking into consideration that in our initial part, we had the idea only of a security company, we have an important evolution, taking into consideration that, well, now we have a higher point of view, taking into consideration that we take into consideration aspects like market research, financial statements, technical studies, business plans, and other tools to ensure the success of the project and to have a bigger options to offer our services. So, compared to previous versions, we improved budgets, financial statements, and were more specific for our business plan. So, in conclusion, we think that we have expanded our objectives. We have been really more concise on the state that we are, the benefits, the cons, and we feel that we have done a really good job. That'll be all. Thank you very much for your attention. This would be the bibliography, the sources, some of the sources used,